Oil companies claim their product lasts 20,000 miles. Some print it right on the label. Technically, they're not lying, but here's what they leave out. Oil doesn't stop working one day. It fails gradually, quietly. And by the time your engine tells you something's wrong, the damage is already done. Today, exactly what happens at 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, and 20,000 miles, and the silent failure that costs $4,000 to fix with zero warning light. Quick disclaimer before we start, the tips and guides in this video are for educational purposes only. Every vehicle is different, so please use this information at your own risk. We are not responsible for any damage or injury that may occur. When in doubt, always consult a professional mechanic. Most people think oil just keeps metal from grinding together. That's actually the smallest part of its job. Modern engine oil does 5 things at the same time. It lubricates, yes, but it also neutralizes combustion acids that form every time fuel burns inside your cylinders. It suspends metal particles and combustion byproducts so they don't settle on internal surfaces. It controls heat in areas coolant can't reach, and it keeps seals soft so they don't dry out and crack. Every single one of those functions depends on an additive package, a chemical cocktail blended into the base oil. Anti-wear agents, detergents, dispersants, antioxidants, friction modifiers. That additive package is what breaks down over mileage, and once those additives are spent, it doesn't matter if the oil still looks fine on the dipstick. The protection is already gone. This is the part the 20,000-mile marketing conveniently skips over. So let's walk through what actually happens inside your engine as the miles add up. At 5,000 miles, additive levels are strong, viscosity is stable. Where metals like iron, aluminum, and copper sit at baseline levels in used oil analysis. This is still a safe zone for most engines running modern synthetics. That old 3,000-mile rule is unnecessary here. But this is where psychology starts working against you. Oil still looks clean, car runs smooth, no urgency, so people just keep driving. At 10,000 miles, real chemical change begins. Detergent capacity is dropping, oxidation is measurable, and in turbocharged and direct injection engines, which covers most vehicles sold after 2015, fuel dilution becomes a real factor. Unburned fuel seeps past piston rings into the crankcase. It thins the oil and weakens film strength. Some engines handle 10,000 miles fine. Others are already accelerating internal wear. Your driving pattern decides which category you fall into. And we'll get to that soon because it changes everything. At 15,000 miles, this is the turning point. Viscosity becomes unstable. Oxidation is thickening oil in high-temperature zones, while fuel dilution is thinning it elsewhere. The oil is fighting 2 opposing problems at once. The anti-wear additive ZDDP, zinc dialkyl dithiophosphate, is heavily depleted. Sludge formation risk spikes. Not thick black sludge overnight, but varnish, microdeposits, and debris building up in oil control ring grooves and VVT passages. All of it invisible, and at 20,000 miles, you're not stretching oil anymore. You're running a fluid that has exhausted most of its detergent capacity, broken down its anti-wear additives, accumulated combustion acids, and been diluted repeatedly by fuel. Oil's job has reversed. Instead of protecting against damage, it's now carrying damage through your engine. That's the line most drivers never see coming, because nothing on the dashboard tells you it happened. And that brings us to the real cost. 4 specific failures that start during this exact window, and not one of them triggers a warning light. These 4 failures share one thing in common. Your car will start fine, idle fine, and show 0 warning lights while every single one of them is happening. Starting at number 4, VVT solenoid clogging. Variable valve timing systems control when your engine's valves open and close, and they're completely dependent on oil pressure. When oil thickens with varnish and oxidation byproducts, VVT solenoids start to restrict. Oil control valves stick. Timing becomes erratic. You'll eventually notice a rough idle, delayed throttle response, or a P11 or P21 cam timing code. Repair runs $500 to $2,000 depending on the vehicle, and the root cause in many of these cases is dirty, degraded oil, not a faulty part. Number 3, turbocharger coking. Turbochargers spin at 150,000 to 250,000 revolutions per minute. Their bearings float on a film of oil measured in microns. When oil oxidizes and thickens, it can't flow fast enough through the turbo's tiny oil passages. Heat builds. Oil carbonizes directly inside the turbo center housing. That's called coking. Once it starts, the turbo bearing degrades and oil passages partially block. The turbo doesn't blow up dramatically. It loses efficiency slowly, until one day it fails completely. Replacement runs $1,500 to $3,000 minimum, often more, and the most common victims are turbocharged direct injection engines like the EcoBoost, Honda 1.5T, and Toyota 2.0T. Engines millions of people are driving right now. But this next one is worse, because once it starts, it rarely reverses. Number 2, oil control ring sticking. Oil control rings are the lowest set of piston rings. They're thin, moving rapidly inside grooves machined into the piston. Their job is to scrape oil off cylinder walls and return it to the pan. When oil degrades and deposits form in those ring grooves, the rings lose mobility. They stick. Oil consumption begins. At first, half a quart every 3,000 miles, then a quart every 1,000 miles. Drivers always ask the same thing: why is my car burning oil when it never did before? The answer is, the rings lost their ability to control oil film on the cylinder wall. Chemical treatment sometimes help if caught early, but once those grooves are heavily varnished, the fix is engine rebuild or replacement. $3,000 to $7,000. All because oil chemistry was allowed to collapse. And the number one silent failure with the worst repair cost and the least warning is timing chain wear. Modern engines use timing chains instead of belts, and chains are designed to last the engine's life. But that design assumes clean, stable oil. Timing chains rely on tensioners that operate on oil pressure. When oil is degraded and thickened, tensioners can't respond fast enough. Chain stretch accelerates. Timing guides wear unevenly. Performance drops. You might hear a rattle at cold start, that characteristic chain slap for a few seconds before oil pressure builds and quiets it down. Repair cost runs $1,500 to $3,500. And the driver who brings that car in almost always says the same thing: I always used synthetic oil. Yes, but synthetic oil with a collapsed additive package is still degraded oil. The brand name on the bottle means nothing if the chemistry inside is spent. Now, here's where most advice falls apart. They give you one number, one interval. But there isn't one answer because oil companies test under ideal conditions. Steady highway loads, perfect temperatures, full warm-up cycles every drive. That's not how most people actually use their cars. Here's the honest breakdown. If you're mostly highway in a warm climate with a naturally aspirated engine, 10,000 miles works. Possibly 12,000 with premium synthetic, mixed city and highway with a turbo or direct injection engine, 7,500 miles and 10,000 maximum. Short trips under 10 miles, stop and go traffic, cold climate, keep it at 5,000 miles because fuel dilution risk is too high. Ride share or delivery with high idle time, 5,000 miles regardless of oil brand. And highway only with a large oil capacity engine, 15,000 miles may be defensible, but only with used oil analysis confirming the chemistry still holds. Notice what's missing from that list. 20,000 miles as a safe recommendation for any real-world driver. The only way that number makes sense is if you run lab analysis at 10,000 miles and confirm the additive package is holding. Without that data, you're gambling with a $5,000 engine. And that leads straight into the two brands everyone brings up. AMSOIL Signature Series advertises 25,000 miles or 1 year under normal service. Mobil 1 annual protection claims 20,000 miles or 1 year. Both have legitimate testing behind those numbers. ASTM chassis, dynamometer protocols, and multi-vehicle validation. Real science. But both specs include fine print that says normal service, mostly highway, minimal idle time, no extreme cold, no real-world GDI fuel dilution levels. And here's the part that matters most. No manufacturer backs these intervals. Toyota recommends 10,000 miles. Honda says 7,000, 500 to 10,000. Ford says 10,000. If your engine fails under extended drain intervals, the warranty conversation gets ugly fast. The oil company won't pay for your engine. The manufacturer will point to the owner's manual, and you'll be the one holding the bill. Use premium extended life oils if you want, but run them at 10,000 to 12,000 miles, not 20,000. That's where the protection actually holds across all driving conditions. Now this part is for anyone watching who just realized they've got 14,000 or 15,000 miles on the same oil and wants to know what to do right now. Don't panic, and don't dump an aggressive chemical flush in there. If sludge has started forming in oil passages, a rapid flush can break it loose in chunks. Those chunks clog the oil pickup screen and cause oil starvation. Sometimes the flush does more damage than the old oil. Instead, change the oil now. Use a full synthetic with strong detergent capacity. Pennzoil, Platinum, Amsoil Signature, or Mobil 1 Extended Performance all work well here. Then change it again at 3,000 miles after that first change. Let the detergents work gradually and clean the engine in stages. Don't jump to a much thicker viscosity thinking it will compensate. It won't fix ring damage. It will just restrict cold start flow in an engine that needs clean oil most during those first 30 seconds after ignition. And if you want a real answer about where your engine stands, send an oil sample to Blackstone Laboratories. Costs about $30 to $35. They'll report exactly what wear metals are present, whether the TBN has dropped below safe levels, and whether your engine shows early signs of internal stress. That one test is worth more than 100 opinions online. Now you know what 20,000 miles actually does inside an engine. The chemistry, the failures, the real costs. But here's the follow-up question that comes up every single time. Am I even doing my oil change the right way? Because most people are replacing their engine oil wrong. Wrong drain procedure? Wrong filter prep? Wrong fill method? Small mistakes that undo the protection you just paid for, and nobody talks about them. I made a full breakdown on exactly how most people get their engine oil replacement wrong and what to do instead. It's right here on screen. Click it now. And if this video just kept you from a repair bill you didn't see coming, hit subscribe. At Car Care Simplified, we don't just tell you what to fix. We tell you why it breaks and how to stop it before it costs you. Your engine is running right now. Make sure it's running on something that's still actually protecting it.